we have Reverend Ron English, who probably was in many of those marches throughout the South and has led so many actions here in West Virginia. He is currently the NAACP president of the Charleston unit, and he's going to give us thoughts on the life of John Lewis. Reverend English.
Thank you so much, Karen. Glad to be here. It's my delight to be able to be here in recognition of John Lewis and for the cause that brings us together. And I'm really glad to be representing the Charleston branch of the NAACP in the process of being here. There's a little situation here with my computer. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. John Lewis shared the vision with his mentor and friend, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., and that was to redeem the soul of America. The focus of his mission assumed that America had a soul to redeem. Soul is now associated more with music than religion, but John Lewis was inspired by Dr. King, who was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, and who borrowed from him the term soul force. John Lewis was raised in rural Pike County in Alabama by his parents, who were sharecroppers. When he was 18 years old, he wrote Dr. King a letter that made such an impact that Dr. King invited John Lewis to come to Montgomery, which was about 50 miles from his home city of Troy. He said that at that meeting, Dr. King asked him, "Are you the boy of Troy?" His response was, "Yes, I am, John Robert Lewis," using his full name to signify the full measure of his zeal to follow him. In 1961, he participated in the Freedom Rise, where he endured physical assaults. He was attracted into the movement by Dr. King, but he was mobilized by the magnetism that served to prompt his participation that landed him in what he came to call good trouble. John Lewis said, "When you see something and it's not right, say something. Do something. Democracy is not a state, it is an act that each generation must do its part to build the beloved community in a nation and a world society that will be at peace with itself." John Lewis said, "When historians pick up the pen to write history in the 21st century, let them say that it was your generation who laid down the heavy burden of hate, that peace would finally triumph over violence and aggression and war." So we come today to celebrate the work of John Lewis. May we be inspired and motivated to share the soul of John Lewis. The boy from Troy that spoke at the Democratic National Convention in September 6, 2012 said, "My dear friends, your vote is precious and almost sacred. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have to create a more perfect union." And so we come to today to honor the legacy of the boy from Troy who was attracted into the civil rights movement by Dr. King, but left his own legacy with a magnetism and energy that prompted him to keep participating and prompting good trouble. Recently, a group of white supremacists showed up in Charleston in a covered truck, brandished their weapons, got back in the truck, moved on. It caught Mayor Goodwin and the chief of police off guard. However, I was encouraged by a conversation that Pastor Marlon Collins and I had with the mayor on what she had learned from this situation that would raise awareness in Charleston. May the spirit of John Lewis rule and awaken our awareness to the reality of racism that has taken new form of complexity in the public square. Good trouble is still needed to upset patterns of benign neglect in our communities. So may the spirit of John Lewis rule our thoughts, guide our feet, and control our lives. Amen.